Hello, race fans, and welcome to Disc Golf Daily. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, and spring is finally here. It's time to get caught up with disc golf news and growth in about 10 minutes. We are changing up our stats so that we now do UDisc course updates on Tuesdays. Having said that, in order to not mess up the data, we are going to skip that and do the check-in next Tuesday after we have a full week under our belt. Having said that, thanks for sharing the podcast. The numbers keep going up. Whatever you do, though, don't rate us in the app or share our stuff on social. We want all of our growth to be organic. And having said all that, let's get to the news. Our number one news story of the day, disc golf and sports wagering. Want to bet? Our number one news story is about the Pro Tour partnering with US Integrity. They announced a comprehensive partnership that will begin the process of launching professional disc golf into the world of regulated sports wagering. Regulated sports wagering is a fancy term for we're going to be able to bet on disc golf for reals. From the press release, quote, US Integrity is an integrity monitoring service provider that has worked with various professional sporting organizations and major sports books to ensure compliance and fair play. US Integrity will serve as the Pro Tour's consulting and integrity monitoring service provider as the Tour works towards offering wagering opportunities to fans. Baker Helton, Pro Tour VP of Business Administration, says, quote, "We're excited to partner with US Integrity as our next step towards offering our fans new opportunities to engage with competition as well as spreading the story." You know what? None of these quotes are going to matter. Anyway, here at Disc Golf Daily, we are all about the growth of disc golf, especially stuff we can see and measure. Today is one of the bigger days in that story. We all knew that when UDisc stepped away and the Pro Tour brought stat keeping in-house with the PDGA, this was one of the reasons. The Pro Tour is putting pieces in place to bring disc golf that much closer to the mainstream. I am not sure what the upper limit is for disc golf, but I can guarantee we can get bigger than traditional golf. The sport is just so much more fun to watch, and dare I say, our athletes are cooler. Yeah, I would go one-on-one, head-to-head, the top 20 golfers, traditional golfers, versus the top 20 disc golfers. We're going to win that battle. All right, disc golf, here we go. Our number two news story of the day, the Jonesboro Recap continues. Thanks to Brian for the good recap yesterday. Here are a couple of extra stats from PDGA Stats and Statmando that you may have missed. Not that Brian missed because they just came out. Number one, Anthony Barella is the first back-to-back MPO winner on the Pro Tour since 2022 when Simon Lizotte won the OTB Open and the Portland Open. Stat number two, Ezra Aderhold finishes as a tie for second in Jonesboro after finishing third at Texas State 2 weeks ago. This is the first time in his career he's had top 10 finishes. Actually, he was on the podium in both of these events. At first time he went back to back at a major or Elite Series event. Well done. Our number three news story of the day, PDGA approved discs. All right, there's a company called XCOM based in China. They've got the Ori and the Scutum, Scutum. They're both putt-and approaches, and the tops look a little indented in the picture on the PDGA website, possibly by design. Both are 1.1 centimeter winged P&A putt-and approaches, and XCOM now has 22 discs that are PDGA approved, 11 of them in the last year. That was fast. Innova has reapproved the Scorpion. It's a completely new mold. It's a 2.3 centimeter distance driver. Infinite Discs has a very thin-winged putter, 0.7 centimeter rim thickness. Like everything else is like 1.1. That thing is thin. And it is called the Glyph, and it is PDGA approved. And lastly, Ripper Discs, RIPR, has gotten the Leatherback, a putt-and approach, approved, as well as the Gray Wolf, a 2.4 centimeter distance driver, approved. And Gray is spelled Grey. I wonder when we're supposed to use the A. Anyway, those two discs join the Flame Skimmer as their 3 PDGA approved discs. Welcome aboard, Ripper. And just so you know, in my opinion, the discs from Innova and Ripper look ready to be released soon. Our number 4 news story of the day, the PDGA Scholastic Club Grant. If you know anybody that teaches or is an administrator or does anything with the K through 12 schools, you should let them know about this. In an effort to grow disc golf at the K through 12 level, the PDGA Youth and Education Committee has developed a new grant. The goal is to incentivize the creation and growth of disc golf clubs in grades K through 12. The grant is open to active PDGA members in good standing. The grant is available to elementary, middle, and high school teachers, coaches, administrators, and volunteers. Although they do put some restrictions on the volunteers, so you can't just say you're a volunteer. You actually have to do it. Grant funds may be used for equipment, uniforms, baskets, travel, events, PDGA junior memberships, and other administrative support. They are giving it wide berth for these grants. The plan is to offer this grant to U.S. residents in 2024 and to the rest of the world in the near future. Dr. Justin Menecheli, PDGA Youth and Education Committee chairperson, says, quote, "We believe cultivating disc golf in schools in a sustainable way will plant the seeds for future growth." Well said, Dr. Justin. The total grant amount is $500, and applicants may apply for a grant in successive years. Link in the show notes to the school club grant application page. Easy for me to say. Tell your friends, let's take advantage and show the PDGA we say thanks. We're going to grow disc golf in our K through 12 schools. Our number 5 news story, pros and joes. I normally wouldn't cover something like this. However, in this case, what they're doing here, play 18 holes, you get some free discs, and you learn how to play with a pro teaching you the whole way around the course. This is a great opportunity, especially if you live in or near Amherst, New Hampshire. Link in the show notes. They've got partners, players, a complete schedule. Go register. But the reason I mention it is that you should run something like this in your area. And if you're an entrepreneur, you should make an event like this replicable across the country. Like make a pros and joes in a box. Make it a brand that teaches the sport to newer players through these one-day, fun-day events. This is a great idea. It looks well executed, and others should copy this idea. Well done. And our final news story of the day, Eclipse Path of Totality study. First of all, the fact that we all know what Path of Totality means is kind of weird. It wasn't in Game of Thrones. I don't know how UDisc does it, but they consistently come up with great topics for articles. Not to mention that they do the best job of tracking the growth of our sport, which the PDGA should start to do a little better job by joining an international sports organization that maybe tracks participation. But anyway, that's not why we're here. A little off topic there. My apologies. On Monday, April 8th, as we all know, people along a 150-mile wide line across North America saw a total solar eclipse. That was called the Path of Totality. Millions of people put work and other responsibilities aside to enjoy the spectacle. People filled their days with plenty of other activities, though. So if you're planning on spending 4 minutes watching the eclipse, what do you do the rest of the day? UDisc wanted to see if more than a few had disc golf on the agenda. So here's what they did. They checked out how many disc golf rounds were recorded with UDisc at courses along the Path of Totality on April 8th. They then compared those numbers to averages from other Mondays, ever since daylight savings, what made the average in 2024. So, short version, on Eclipse Day, there were 9,381 rounds recorded along the Path of Totality. On an average Monday since daylight savings in 2024, there were less than 5,000 rounds. That's not quite near doubling, but pretty close to near doubling. Fascinating. The differences are impressive. Eclipse Day blew Mondays out of the water and even outperformed weekend days by a significant amount. However, UDisc had to do some more legwork to rule out coincidence because these guys are all crazy mathematicians. They examined play counts of courses outside the path of totality. Those courses saw roughly average traffic across the board. So, while courses not in the path of totality had traffic levels similar, courses within it were significantly busier. Turns out disc golfers love all kinds of discs in the sky. That does it for us today. If you have any thoughts, news, or opinions, shoot us an email at discgolfdaily@aol.com. Have fun, throw 'em straight, and hit the thin gap.